9 years. What happened? I turned 71 last year. And at that point, you start doing the math. Not budget math, life math. For 9 years, I've watched guys arrive here young, dumb, full of optimism. Some of them are doing great, and some of them aren't. In this video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion of what growing old in the Philippines looks like. True story. Well, something I want to get off my chest from the get-go. This is not some kind of pep talk, and this is not some kind of scare video. I don't know your situation. I only know mine. But what does a guy that comes over here at 55 look like by the time he hits 70? Well, I've seen the movie a few times. I feel that there's a lot of videos out there that try to talk about this topic, but they haven't got the time or the experience over here that yours truly has. So I want to discuss with you the reality of what it's like to be a man aging in the Philippines. I can tell you both through observations and my own life that things are a whole lot different from the age of, say, 60 to the age of 70. That decade has a major impact, at least on my life, and I've got to assume it does on most people. And guys over here are sometimes set up so perfectly that they just keep moving and grooving. They stay active, they have connections, they have people. They may have met that someone special. In my life, I've got my wife, baby May. Knock on wood, my health is in good shape. Budget-wise, I'm doing okay financially. And so I want to talk about those three things in no particular order. Let's go over health for a minute. Before I came out here and got on the plane, I had triple diamond insurance from my employer. And I went through every possible test that you could imagine. And I had them check everything. And they were more than happy to do it because the insurance was paying through the nose. And all I had was like a $10 copay or something like that. Anyway, believe it or not, even though none of the tests showed anything up, I'll make a real long story short, they put a stent in my heart. Because I kept complaining, kind of falsely, to the cardiologist that it was bothering me. And he finally said, well, he checked my insurance plan, I'm sure, first. He says, why don't we go ahead and put a camera in there and take a look around? I said, good, because I'm going to be out of the country, and I want to make sure if anything's wrong, we find it. Well, guess what, boys and girls? He popped a stent in there. There was something that was blocked by about 60%, and he just took care of it right then and there. And I felt blessed doing it that way. When I got on the plane, I was fit as a fiddle. And you know what? I've gotten tired, I've gotten older, my knees are starting to hurt, I can't walk as far, I have limitations. And the majority of the guys that I know that have gone here from 55, as we're talking about, to 70, has been a quantum leap in their activities. Things start to really slow down. We're not so much in Dora the Explorer mode anymore. We're not racing around on our motorbikes, going up and down every hill, every trail, trying to figure out what's where, and we're going to see this, and we're going to see that. We're much more interested in, A, maintaining our health, and one of the ways that guys do it, including myself, is it's so cheap over here to go in once a year and just get a medical checkup. Just have them do the blood, the urine, the other stuff, and do the test and the heart and whatever they do, putting all those machines on you, x-rays, CAT scans if necessary, and you know your knees start to hurt and your belly starts to grow, and perhaps they can counsel you as far as how to lose a little bit of weight or how to work out that pain in your knee. They can catch something before it becomes something. I do know personally one expat over here that kept getting sick and then sick and then sick with 3 different conditions, and did his damnedest to ignore that they even existed. Well, unfortunately, he died about a month ago, and it was from one of the 3. What's really sad is if he had been paying attention, he would still be alive today and still be my friend. But one of the mistakes he made, which is the next topic I want to kind of roll into, is money management. I'm not going to roll him under the bus completely. I'm just going to envelop people in general. They do not, after all the time being over here, they still haven't taken the necessary steps to ensure some kind of financial stability, safety nets. One of the things that I can preach to anybody that I meet in person, they're asking me, hey, Paul, what should I do about this? Would you recommend that? Is first things first. You should have set up, prior to coming out here, hopefully, a lifeline to your bank in America, a transfer service or multiple transfer services so that you can move your money over here. And I'm a big believer in not putting all of my eggs in one basket. As soon as I qualified to, and the qualifications out here are kind of funky, but you can get around them, is I opened up a bank account and I started putting money in there. And my logic at the time wasn't because I wanted a bank account so bad, but I wanted another nest egg, another safety net over here, not just over in the States. Because what if one day my debit card didn't work? Or worse, the machine ate my debit card. Or I got to the age where I couldn't remember my PIN number, which is coming up fast on me, I think. Anyway, having a secondary source to keep your money, I think, is critical. And every month that I move money over, I move over my budget amount, and I also move over extra. And I put it into a joint account with my wife. And so she can access that money. She has her own little debit card. I've got mine. We share the money, and right now we're in savings mode. We're trying to see how big we can stack that up for a future project that we're going to take on. But that being said, what if I went to the hospital tomorrow because something happened? Whatever, pick your poison. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm in the hospital. Well, these babies out here, they want to get paid. They don't play. And so she can go down to that bank and access the money a lot quicker than trying to get it sent over from my bank in the States. She can go down and she can go in the bank, for that matter, and not even play with the ATM. And if they want 100,000 pesos, well, thank God we have that much in there. And she can pull it out and take care of the medical bill so I don't get held hostage before they'll release me. That's one of the little nuances over here. And then last but not least, good old-fashioned romance and companionship. Some of those things go well, some of them go sideways, and I'm not going to bore you with all the usual stuff about the family and the girl that lies to you and all the gifts that you bestow upon her, and you do all these silly things. That I simply have summed up to take your time and slow down. I've been blessed with the wife that I have, but I took my time. Her and I didn't move in together for 6 months. I know guys that are asking them to move in before 6 hours has gone by. And then they find out who that person is. And that person doesn't turn out to be quite what they thought she was. And maybe he doesn't turn out what she thought he was. And then there's this going on. And it never seems to end well. So my thinking on this, as you're growing older out here, you're not going to be as active. You're not going to be as vivacious. And that's just part of the program. I say embrace it. What can you do that is so important? I see one of the major problems for guys is that they lose a sense of community. They lose a sense of friendship, and they lose a sense, and most importantly this, they lose a sense of purpose. When they first got here, they were racing around, having a good time, and then they started to slow down, and their social life started to slow down. Maybe they did not ever find a significant other, or if they did, it's since ended, and they find themselves alone. They find themselves alone, and they find themselves perhaps a little behind the 8 ball financially because they didn't plan properly. That never looks good. Those are the guys that you see counting out pesos at the end of the month, waiting for the first of the month, because they're still, after all these years, living check to check with no kind of safety net. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. But the guy that wakes up and he feels like he's been there and done that and doesn't have any sense of community, any sense of belonging, any sense of purpose, those are the ones that I see just kind of wither down, wither up, turn to ash, and blow away, either physically or mentally or both. I think it's important that as we age, we stay engaged and we try to keep our circle of friends. Doesn't mean you have to go party every night. Doesn't mean you have to go to every event, but you do need to send a text, say hi, get in touch with someone, go out to lunch, have a conversation, let them know where you are, let them know what your situation is. God forbid you should find yourself in the situation where you have that motorcycle accident, where I've got baby May to go down to the bank and get the money, and that guy, he hasn't got one person that he can call his friend, and there's no community involvement. He stays away from his neighbors, and he's just sort of become a recluse. Those guys have a lonely, lonely existence. I've always felt this. I've never been the football star. I've never been the prom king. I've never been the guy that was able to walk up to the prettiest girl in the room and sweep her off of her feet. Never, ever, ever. I was your average Joe, your average schmuck that was just kind of going through life, sort of settling for whatever it was that I had. I have never been happier in the last 9 years than I ever was in the first 62 years of my life. I'm 71. I've done more living over here in 9 years. And I'm happy to say that the majority of the guys that I know, that I associate with, and that I observe, as they grow older, they too grow wiser. If they had bad money habits, they've corrected them. They were able to be a big boy, put on their big boy pants and say, you know what, this is madness. I've got to stop it. And they cut it, and they fix it, and they start to repair it. I think that this place gives you an opportunity to really take a solid look at yourself, analyze yourself, and realize what your shortcomings are, and don't play to them. Simply try to improve who you are, how you are, and how you fit into the community, and what do you have to offer. These are the last days of our lives. Shouldn't we go out strong? I'm sure glad I feel like I am, and I hope you do too. All right, kids, I'll be seeing you in the next video.